Hi, friends. Welcome to another vision casting with Raquel and I. Super excited you're here. So, today we wanted to talk about facing adversity with God sized goals. You've heard us talk a lot about winning the day, and you're going to keep hearing it because we're reading this book, and it's been something that we've really enjoyed. Um, they start off by talking about run of the litter, and that's kind of the theme that we're using this time, where the ranch dog does the work of 10 men herding cattle. So typically you would think that no one would want the runt, right? But the smallest puppy is always identified by putting a piece of string around its neck. This is the puppy that like herders would probably bet their life work on, because the runt is always going to have to work harder to survive, because so it becomes the smartest, the fastest, and the most determined with the biggest heart. So it kind of makes you think that like we have our own, we think sometimes we have our own things again going against us, but really they can be working for us. So every person is composed of a few different themes, and your destiny is hidden in your history. God doesn't waste days, especially bad ones. Everything that we go through was meant to happen to prepare us for our future. Almost anybody can accomplish almost anything if they work at it long enough, hard enough, and smart enough. You're capable of more than you can imagine. We don't succeed in spite of our disadvantages, difficulties, or disappointments. We succeed because of them. So, question number one: what is something that you've walked through recently or that you're currently walking through, whether it's a disappointment, a difficulty, or something that you consider a disadvantage?
All right. And then pause it, come back. Second question after you wrote that is now, how can you flip that? How can you flip the script and use that to your advantage? So, taking the pressure off of perfectionism by focusing on quality over quantity. So, the author who wrote this book, he wasn't a writer at all. He actually was really bad in English based off his grades and scores on tests. So, he had to work harder than most people. And he put a goal out there to read 300 books. And after reading 300 books, he put a goal of writing at least 2 pages every single day. Up into 100 days, you're going to have 200 pages of a book. So he talks about this because it's focusing on the input and not focusing on the output or like the result. You just have to do it. You win the day that's in front of you, and you learn how to leverage your weaknesses. If success is the byproduct of well-managed failure, then your strength is the result of well-managed weakness. So, Autumn, what's question number 3?
When facing adversities, what is one non negotiable that you're going to do for yourself every day to win the day? And when you're done answering that, come back. And then, so there's this example of tilting the treadmill. So God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. And you've heard this before, that God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. And we're going to keep saying this over and over again because it's true. So if you choose to go after a God-sized goal and it doesn't go along with your natural gifting, it's kind of like tilting the treadmill to a steep incline. You're going to have to work longer, harder, and smarter than everyone else. And realistically, it's going to be harder than you hope and take longer than you imagine. So
Yeah,
tell us more about goal setting.
it reminds me of when he was talking about he had asthma. So he had asthma all the way growing up as a child, and he would pray about it getting taken away, and like he always had it. And like one day he prayed the same prayer that he used to, and it actually worked. So his asthma healed. It got taken away. So he made this goal because he could never run because of his asthma. He made this goal of running a marathon, and he's not just going to run a marathon the very next day, because these are the things that like they're his weaknesses, right? They're something that could technically like hold him back from doing something that he wants to do. So what he did to prepare himself for it was he downloaded training plans. He completed 72 trainings and he ran 475 miles before he ever ran the race. He ended up running the race, and of course he didn't win, but the win to him was he completed it without facing his asthma or difficulty breathing. So it's about goal setting and storytelling. It's about setting a God-sized goal and allowing it to stretch your faith. The bigger the goal, the better the story you're going to tell yourself. When the odds are stacked against you, it shows you true intervention. We need to go after dreams that are destined to fail without divine intervention. We need giants in our life. Our story is born out of the weaknesses and the adversities that we have to overcome. What does goal setting have to do with our story, right? Goal setting is storytelling. It's writing the last chapter first and working your way backwards. The story will only be as good as the goals that you go after. So, question number 4, come up with a list of life goals you want to accomplish and write them either in past or present tense, like an affirmation.
Perfect. And that's all that we have for you guys today. So super excited that you guys were able to watch this. We hope that you got something from it. If you did, please share it with someone else who needs this. And we hope to catch you on one of our live vision castings on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Eastern. See you, friends.